Hello, everyone. I just wanted to come on here and quickly chat with you about the full moon in Leo. It's happening February 5th at 10:26 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at 16 degrees. Really excited. I'm going to chat with you about some intuitive messages first, and then we'll get into some messages that I pulled based on the astrology of that day and the chart. So, some intuitive message that I channeled. The first thing that I channeled was that this full moon is really pushing us to go out there and find the magic of life. And the magic of life is actually quite simple. It's really about the present moment. And I actually is bringing me to the gene key that I pulled for this transit. So I'm using the gene keys by Richard Rudd. I'll link it down below in case you want to check it out. I'm going to be using it in these videos kind of like an oracle where I'll ask it a question and then I'll flip to a random page and we'll take a look into that gene key. And I got the gene key of gene key 20. Let me flip to that page. Gene key 20. Here it is. And this gene key on the shadow level is about superficiality. On a gift level, it's about self-assurance, and on the city level, it's about presence. And this, Richard Rudd talked about how us humans kind of live similarly to bugs. Yes, bugs. Always these busy bugs moving around, working nonstop. All we do is procreate and then we die. Like bugs live such a short life. Some of them only live days, some of them only live months. But the entire time in their short-lived lives, they're just working to work. And how that's a problem with us humans. And Richard Rudd calls that living superficially. Because he describes living superficially as living in the false fabrications of your mind. Not being in the present moment, not even thinking, not being conscious. We're just going. We're just doing what everyone says we should do. And I really feel like the full moon is asking us to come out of that and connect back to magic, connect back to source, connect back to our heart. Our heart is the thing that makes us feel alive, right? It's a part of us that makes us so human. And like I said, the answer to that is quite simple. You stay in the present moment and you surrender to the experiences that life throws at you. And I think we also have to sit here and make a decision. Oftentimes, we'll have to decide, do I want to stay home and work? Or should I go hang out with, should I go hang out with my friends? And they're bringing a new friend, so I should go out and meet this new friend, right? But I also have to work. We kind of go back and forth. But the universe is giving you this opportunity to make a new friend. Do you live life so you can make new friends and live? Or do you live life to work? And it reminds me of this quote from Emily in Paris where one of them, I forgot which one says it, but they're like, we don't live to work. We work to live. All right. And I really like that. And I always try to keep that in mind. And I think this full moon in Leo is highlighting that. Also, I was channeling just this energy of life is what you make it. I am only here to guide you. That is a quote that my grandma used to say all the time. And that has just been in my head. Like, life is what you make it. I am only here to guide you. Like, life is what you make it. And the people around you, your parents, your family, whatever, they're just here to guide you. But you don't always have to take that guidance. You can go your own way. You could do things in your own style. You don't have to model it how everyone else is doing it. And I really think that full moon in Leo also emphasizes that sense of individuality, that sense of self, that sense of uniqueness, really embracing it and being like, yeah, I don't do it like everybody else because I like it better this way. And I also like this energy of just go outside. So my grandpa actually used to always say this. He would say, go outside. Life is not in the four walls of your home. Okay. So I feel like some of you maybe have been homebodies quite a bit. And in order to take advantage of this all planets direct time period, you need to be outside. You need to be outside so that way the universe can throw in those unexpected, invitations, unexpected events, all that good stuff. I think that, with this energy, we have a T-square going on here. With the sun and the moon in opposition and then them squaring Uranus. And I think people can really look at this T-square as a really hard aspect, because it can be. So for some people, this can be really hard, but I like to think of it as catalyzing. And catalyzing does not always have to be bad. We need good things to get catalyzed too. So I think it really depends on the person. It depends on the karma. I'm also feeling the energy of karma coming here. And for a lot of you, it could be good karma. This energy connects with the nodes. And the south node to me is the funneling of the past life karma. And it's actually connected to the lot of fortune here during the full moon. And so I think there could be some good past life karma coming in for you that can be catalyzed through these unexpected events, through this T-square. And sometimes, we need that nudge. And that's something I've been channeling a lot for this full moon, is that people need that nudge. They need that push. And that's, I think, what this T-square can bring, is this push. But with it, with the south node and a lot of fortune hanging out here, I feel like good things can come from that nudge. And I'm also getting this energy too of underlying shadow energy, underlying stress, underlying unsureness. And this could happen because with path work, there's so many different rhythms and so many different speeds and so many different paths that we can connect to, that we could tune into. And we do connect and tune into different ones all the time. The path changes up. People think this is just one path that's going to be steady. No, the path is always changing up. It's changing up speeds, it's changing up directions, and it's trying to guide you to where you need to be. That's why it's doing that. And the path right now feels like it's rocky, and but it's rocky in a good way. And this is the best way I can describe it, is astrologer Esoteric Sky. You guys have probably heard me mention them because one of my favorites. They talked about how this path work right now is kind of like the energy of someone on a mountain bike, going down the mountain. And if you watch those kind of videos on YouTube, you can see there's a whole bunch of rocks, there's ledges, it could be really scary, there's trees you could run into, there's so much danger, but the path somehow just works for them. They just go on this momentum and they get in tune with it, and they go down this path and it just works. They just fly through it. This path is also really fast, it's really swift, and that's exactly what I'm feeling for this energy as well. And I want to credit that to Esoteric Sky. That was that analogy of the bike and everything I got from him by going down the mountain. So with that being said, the momentum right now can feel like that. There's so many unsteady, roads. There's so many dangers that could come up, but yet it's just going to work. We just kind of have to trust it, and the universe is going to give us that push if we don't trust it. And regardless, I'll tell you a personal story. I always tell this story though, but this is reminding me of this story. I hate personal stories, but I've been feeling called to share them lately. God dang it. But anyway, I had an ex, and I did not want to leave that relationship. It took me a long time to leave it, but for a while there, I knew it was done and I didn't want to leave it. And the universe gave me a push. It gave me a push, okay? I got all my crap stolen. I was literally living out in an RV, doing the RV life, having fun, and the entire thing got stolen. And that to me was a push I needed to be well, the canvas had just blanked. The canvas had just blanked, so it's now or never. If I want to make any changes, it's now or never. And I made the change, but let me tell you, since that moment in 2020, I'm forgetting the year. I remember it was just my 21st birthday. It literally happened on my 21st birthday. I literally have been on this path for those last 5 years, and it has been a path upward. Finally, a path where I'm improving and I'm growing and I'm getting better and I'm getting healthier, and I have never experienced anything like that in the first 21 years of my life. Life had always felt downward. Life had always felt like it was falling. Life had always felt like everything was falling apart all the time. And then after that switch, it was so scary, but I got that nudge. I went down this unknown path where I was like, I don't even know what's going to happen. Like, my whole life's changing. Everything about me is going to change. All my clothes needs to change. First of all, that all got stolen. My home needs to change. I'm no longer in this partnership. Like, I'm also moving cities, so my literal environment, like, everything is going to change. I had no idea what was going to work, what was going to come from that. And there were so many dangers, right, that could pop up. But you surrender to it anyway. You know the universe is pushing you there, and you surrender to it anyway, and you would be surprised how much improvement happens so fast. These last 5 years have flown the heck by. It's insane. And I'm feeling that catalytic moment happening again for some of you. And then for others, it's going to be, I think, just like a big leap forward into something. And you could maybe see what that something might be depending on what house this full moon is happening in for you. If it's happening in the 7th house, it could be forward leaps in relationships. Happening in the 2nd house, forward leaps in income. Happening in the 10th house, forward leaps in your status. So this could be some type of catalytic moment that makes you go, like, that could bring in stability too. I think that when we think of this kind of energy, it feels very erratic. Like, it's giving the energy of like earthquake. It's giving the energy of, like sudden shock, like lightning. And when we think of that, we're like, everything's destroyed. But really, this can be a very sacred moment. If we step into that type of frequency, if we step into that mindset, this could be a very sacred moment where we can see what foundations were rocky and where we can come back out of things way more steady and secure than we ever could have been before that experience, if that makes sense. And I think there's this opportunity to do that as well. And so going back to the gene keys here, like I said, on the shadow frequency was that energy of superficiality. I'm so bad at saying certain words. I'm sorry, guys. But it's that energy there, and this was the energy of humans living like bugs, right? So what is the frequency up from that? Where can we turn the shadow into a gift? Well, the superficial, we have to not practice superficiality, and we have to start to practice self-assurance. And it's this self-assurance that will allow us to be present, to be confident enough to be present. And so a lot of times, we live as these busy bugs, or we live kind of like not conscious, or we lived kind of like on autopilot or whatever, because we don't really know any other way, or we don't really maybe want to face our reality. Or maybe we there's things that we know are wrong, but if we were to go down this very path, we would have to accept that it's wrong, and we don't want to do that, right? But this energy of self-assurance is how you use it at a gift level, where you surrender to whatever life is giving you, because life has a plan of its own. And I used to hate hearing that, because I used to be such a control freak. But when you start to see it, it's hard to unsee. Yeah, life has its own flow, and life has its own plans, and we are at the mercy of it sometimes. And that's why things that we don't want to happen. If we were in control, then we would never experience that. Things that we don't want to happen suddenly happening, we would never have that experience if we were always in control. So the fact that we have it so much shows us we aren't in control, right? We are sometimes at the mercy of something greater than us. And one thing that this energy talks about is self-assurance. So a quote from Richard Rudd in this book says, self-assurance is directly equivalent to your ability to escape being a victim in your own mind. And he talks about how our mind, and whenever we start to think, that takes us out of the present moment. Whenever we start to just live in our brains and we overthink, or we think about something else, think about the past, we think about the future, that is always taking us out of our present moment. And us humans think a lot, we overthink, if anything. And so we're probably rarely ever in the present moment. And I think that's something to be conscious of, and we could be like, let me get back into the present moment. And how do we get back into that? Well, like I said, first things first is we surrender to whatever the moment is, even if that's hard. And I think that's the hardest part, is some of us are going through tough shit. Life is not easy and it's not fair. And some of us are going through tough shit. And so we don't want to be in the present moment, because the present moment sucks. But the present moment is also ever changing. But we have to be the ones to change it. And so if you want to get out of this present moment where it sucks, you need to get into it and change it. That is your magic as a human being. You are the alchemist. You are the alchemist. Look that up if you don't know what that means. But that is your magic. Okay. Just channeling a little bit. If you see me being quiet, I'm just having this moment where I am channeling, seeing if there's anything I want to say about the Gene Keys or anything I want to say intuitively before I get into some of the notes that I took about the astrology. I think I'm ready to get into the astrology. So full moons in astrology are about completion. They're about end of a cycle. Something is being highlighted to, something is being illuminated that was once unconscious, right? Because the moon rules over unconscious energy. Let me have a sip of coffee here. In the sign of Leo rules over the inner child, our self-expression, rulership, where we like to shine, or how brightly we can shine, and standards that we set for ourselves, and our love and our warmth and our creativity, our pride, our integrity, our life source, right? Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is literally our life source. So what are we devoting our life source to? We could see that with the sun. With the sign of Leo. That can give us hints. And Leo here is, or a moon in Leo energy here, we start to really take that brightness inward. So this energy of Leo, it's a lot about the energy we push out, but when we have a full moon in Leo, that turns inward. I almost like to think of like a full moon in Leo or like sun in Cancer, almost like retrogrades in a way. They kind of have a similar effect because it's like you have the moon in the sun sign or the sun in the moon sign, and it can just create this reversed effect sometimes. But that is asking us now to take a look at our own selves. What needs to be loved, what needs to be reactivated, what needs to be let go. And something that's interesting is I was watching Pam Gregory's video on the full moon, and she talked about how the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And Leo energy is rules over the heart. And so I think this is important to be paying attention to. What does our heart want? And a lot of times what our heart wants, like the brain's like, I might have to override that because that doesn't make sense logically. The brain, that is the brain is there to protect us and think logically, but the heart knows things that the brain doesn't. It senses things, it feels things, it receives information through the universe, through biophotons. And so this is why it's able to send more information to the brain. And we have to listen to our heart more and learn to trust our heart more, learn how to dial into it as well. And I think it could be hard for us to dial into our hearts if our hearts are not connected to the frequency of love. Also, a concept by Pam Gregory, she talks about how there's two frequencies we could live in as humans. We could connect to it. We are like iPhones, you turn that thing on, it immediately starts looking for a signal and it wants to connect to that. We work the same way. We wake up in the morning and we connect to a signal, and you can either connect I'm getting tongue twisted. You can either connect to the signal of fear, or you can connect to the signal of love. That's on you. That is your free will as a human being to decide, no matter what the circumstance is in your life. You decide which one you connect to, and that makes all the difference in the trajectory of your life, in the lens you wear in life, in your health, in your mindset, everything. And um, channeling this energy a little bit more. Also, when I look at this energy and I think of heart space, and our hearts is very connected to our nervous systems and to our bodies and whatnot. And I'm channeling, so this is more intuitive than this astrological, but I'm channeling this energy of like the heart space shifting. And with this shift, like there is such a thing as healthy stress. There is such a thing as healthy like exercise, right? Exercise is something that healthily stresses out the body in a way. It gets your heart pumping, it gets your body moving. That's good stress from like a bad relationship or something. That's not good stress. I think we need to also be mindful of that. Where are we too with stress less. If you're experiencing a lot of unhealthy stress, try to be consciously working on that, putting in the love, care, time, and effort to heal that, because that's not a good place to live in, especially when the heart space is shifting here. I also feel that there could be random events that pop up that just catalyze this like explosion of the heart, just the heart breaking open in some kind of way. And it feels like the heart wants to. It's like if you've always wanted to like go hang with friends or whatever, but you're too shy. This energy of like the heart space breaking open and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go make a friend. Things like that. If you've always been closed off in relationships, this heart space breaking open and you're like, I feel like I could just fall into this one. It's fine. I feel like I could just open up to this person. Like, it's fine. I also feel these kind of messages coming through. And another thing that I think is interesting is Leo rules over creation and creativity. And so this could be a very creative time to like problem solve. That's kind of something I'm sensing here, is creative ideas on how to make something work, creative ideas on how to move forward. Because I think that the catch is that you've been trying to move forward, either trying to model somebody else and how they do things, or trying to model the old way that you used to do things. And I think this energy is like, nope, let me show you a new and creative, innovative way. And that, I think, really propels us forward. So I'm excited for that. And I think that's also why you need to be connected to your heart, because it's your heart that is going to send the brain messages about creative ideas and whatnot. What it feels like would really, warm up itself and warm up the world. And I think that's what's important. Is creativity at its most powerful does that in a very healing ways. It warms everybody up. It opens everybody's hearts up. And I think we want to be incorporating that into our work, no matter what your work is. I don't care if you're a cash register, a cashier at Trader Joe's. I don't care if you're, an astrologer. I don't care if you're the president. I don't know, whatever. But incorporate in, that energy of opening people's hearts up into your work. Because imagine if we all did that. And it's interesting that this is reminding me of this video by Pam Gregory. I think it's also a full moon video, where she talks about how creation starts inside of you before it's created outside of you. And so think of like a human baby that's created inside of you, and then it leaves you, and then it's, creating things outside of you now. And I think that's how a lot of new things start. You have a new project that you've been wanting to start. Well, that starts inside of you, having that creative idea inside of you, and you bring that out, right? You have it in your mind, in your heart, and then you create it with your hands and you bring it outside of you. Let's say you want to start up love, right? Self-love. If you want to attract partnerships, well, you have to start with love inside of you first. You need to love yourself. You need to love other people. Be a good partner. And then you pour that energy outside of you. And like attracts like, and love finds you, So there's this energy of whatever it is that you want to start, like start it up inside, start it up in your heart, and it will pour out naturally. And this is because we, like I said, our things are like an iPhone, where we connect to a frequency. And so when we have this energy inside of us, again, using the example of love, we want to connect to energy of love. Okay, well, we first need to feel it inside of us. And then we have that frequency and love inside of us, and it will automatically match up to the external frequency of love. It'll automatically connect to the love Wi-Fi, you know? Oh, you want to experience more, you know, friendship or whatever. Well, be a good friend. Have that feeling of being a good friend inside of you, and then that will send out a frequency that automatically connects to the friendship Wi-Fi, and now you're making more friends, right? Do you see how that works? So that's like a little hint, I guess, on how you can be starting things up for yourself. Okay. Just channeling a little tiny bit, seeing if there's anything else I want to say. I don't think there's anything else I want to say about this new moon, about this full moon. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to send this out to you. Or not send it out to you. This isn't a reading. Tania, hello. Can't wait to upload this onto YouTube so you guys can watch it. And I hope you have a wonderful full moon. Oh, actually, another piece of advice, and I recommend this for any like full moon going on in a fire sign, like full moon in Aries, full moon Sag, full moon in Leo, whatever. Write down all the things you want to release and burn it. Oh my God, this helps every time. Write down all the things you want to release and burn it. Do it safely though, okay? Don't set your house on fire. Do it safely and have water by you just in case. But I feel like that's just a really great way to ritualize this full moon, if you'd like to. Okay, I just wanted to throw that in. Oh, and one more download. Music. It is a way to open up the heart chakra. It opens up the third eye. It's just so good for you. So play music during the full moon and dance and connect to that frequency. That is a frequency we literally feel like when we play music, and then our like emotions match like the song, like we just really feel and connect with the song. That's you connecting with the frequency there. So just wanted to point that out. Also, don't give a fuck about what people think or about external validation. As long as you like what you're doing and you're proud of you, then keep it moving. Okay, now I think I've said everything I wanted to say. All right, enjoy this full moon. I'm signing out. Bye, guys.